So what about you? Have you met some monsters?
Yeah, one guy I could think of in particular is Jason Rao. He trains up in Long Island, I think, right? Opened up his own gym out there.
Vanguard.
Yeah, Vanguard. He used to compete, but he would never be able to compete at the same level he would train at. So now he's just focused on mainly, opening up a gym and teaching his students. But he was a guy that was, extremely good in the training room, world class. I still think to this day he's legitimately one of the best in the world, but just doesn't compete anymore.
Alright guys, let's get into it. As requested, this is my review of Jason Rao's modern reverse de la Hiva. We're seeing a lot of outside distance and movement-based passing coming out of B-Team lately, and it's because of guys like this unassuming bastard. With modern jiu-jitsu looking more and more like wrestling, bottom position is becoming more and more inferior, unless you're jiu-jitsu's best-kept secret. This guy. Now, if you don't know, Jason Rao is a Matt Serra black belt who trained extensively in the blue basement under John Danaher and now trains at his own gym he owns with Nick Ronan. He's highly regarded as one of the best jiu-jitsu players in the world, but for whatever reason isn't able to compete at the level he shows in the gym, perhaps due to some prevention-oriented gun shyness or nerves. If Gordon and Nikki are the Olsen twins, Jason Rao is the other one. With as much technical prowess as Gordon, while also being a better teacher, while also having enough decency to price his knowledge appropriately, while also possessing a jiu-jitsu that isn't pharmacologically enhanced, Jason Rao's jiu-jitsu is a jiu-jitsu you can trust. Jason Rao is an inspiration to all, to prove you can be elite in jiu-jitsu without having autism. Now getting into the instructional, if you've watched Craig's Power Top or Ethan's Loose Passing instructional, it's because of guys like this you can't put your feet anywhere near or around these areas when passing. These are all danger zones against a guy like Rao, who make use of various knee-to-knee off balances to begin a series of attacks that are a nightmare for you but so smooth and soothing to watch for us. This gives a lot of validity to the leg pin passing that the Ruotolos do, not even as a passing strategy, but as a balance retention strategy. I'll be reviewing that one too, so keep an eye out for that one. If in wrestling the use of an arm drag is to get around to the back and the use of the waterfall or Iranian single leg position is to pop out the back door to the back. The jiu-jitsu version of getting to the back would be to invert underneath. You're already at an unathletic position, why not flip the script, ruin the passer's day and invert the whole orientation of your bodies? All you need is one limb to attach to. The leg. With the sweatiness of your opponent foiling all of your controls, inverting underneath is one of the best options in bottom supine as it's something that you do, rather than something you make your opponent do. Apart from a way to get to the back, what is an arm drag? It's an articulation of the shoulder you can use to manipulate someone's whole body, just like a kimura but with a different hand position. The same can be done to a leg, whether it's a knee lever or a knee-to-knee off balance. Your legs are articulating their knee to manipulate their whole body. The same way off balances are used to set up attacks in judo, the same can be done with these knee-to-knee off balances, and this guy is a master of it. In this instructional you're gonna get some black belt detail in the techniques that make or break these moves, but they aren't going to overwhelm you, as Rao knows exactly how to condense and teach him as well. He often says things like, in general I don't like to use this.
This is probably my least preferred method for attacking this position. There's a few reasons for that, but it's also the
Or, this shouldn't work, or, this is one of my favorite attacks, or, one of my preferred methods, or, so you're seeing a pattern here. He talks to you in real time, as if you're there and it engages you because he narrates what you're thinking, saying things like, so you're seeing a pattern here, shows he respects his audience's intelligence. It's as if he's actually talking to you rather than reciting something Danaher said. He's talking from his perspective so it can help you tremendously when prioritizing for practice, when he says, this is one of my preferred methods, etc. So you can begin to look at the position through his eyes. I mean, what more needs to be said? This guy's instructionals are worth more than what he charges, but that just says more about him. I would go as far to say his Patreon is worth more than any instructional out right now, bar maybe Craig's or any tactical style instructionals coming out that are exploiting concepts like distance or so-called anti-jiu-jitsu, which by the way is a 100% valid strategy that keeps grappling honest. It's so stupid when people call it anti-jiu-jitsu. It's like, why don't I put myself in a standing body lock and get suplexed so I don't get called for doing anti-wrestling? No, you pummel and bide your time and pick your opportunities. Sometimes when passing you're in an inherent disadvantageous position and the best thing is to disengage and try for another angle. Not to mention Rao's Instagram, which I would say if you're not following, you've been living under a rock. Every day he'll post something I have never seen before or a counter to what I thought was the next best thing. I would even go as far as saying if you only followed him on Instagram you could win ADCC trials before you could get through one Gordon Ryan instructional. So I would say this is an absolute no-brainer, but you might have a hard time learning it when guys are passing Rutolo/B team style where they're not even getting close enough for you to attach, but developing it as a booby trap for your opponents after you retain your guard to go straight into an offensive cycle is very valid. I would give it a rating of 5, but his Uki Zane needs a haircut, so 4.5 bowl cuts.